Once we give in to fear, it's like everything that we do and think about is regulated, colored, let's say, by that fear. You've heard of rose-colored glasses. Well, this wouldn't be rose-colored glasses. This would be wearing dark sunglasses indoors. Hey, welcome back to Frank and Angie's Retire Early Lifestyle at home or abroad. And hold on, let me go get the broom. I need to sweep some of this sand out of the office here. Oh, right, I didn't bring it today. Excuse me, let's move right into the subject matter here. 4 ways to lose your fear of living on Social Security. Now, when I say Social Security, I'm saying people living either on Social Security or on a Social Security budget. Either way, this applies to the content of this video. Now, why did I make this video? First off, before we get into it, is that I see an awful lot of interest in the subject of Social Security. And let's be clear and put everything on the table. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear. What's going to happen, and what's going to happen to my purchasing power, what's going to happen to my retirement, what's going to happen to me, what's going to happen to everything, what's going to happen to my Social Security. And so in the interest of helping the viewer lose their fear, let's talk about how fear is an emotion. Let's dissect this thing. It is an emotion. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, right? So the first step is to put the fear in its proper perspective and acknowledge that we're dealing with an emotion. And in my life, in dealing with people, I noticed that it's common for people to be emotional and to allow emotions to rule the day, so to speak. Ancient wisdom gives us other options, however. And so putting a fear in its perspective that it is an emotion, let's look at the emotion, because once we give in to fear, it's like everything that we do and think about is regulated, colored, let's say, by that fear. You've heard of rose-colored glasses. Well, this wouldn't be rose-colored glasses. This would be wearing dark sunglasses indoors. You're not going to see anything. You're going to stumble. And that's a really good analogy, actually. So once we recognize that we're dealing with an emotion and putting it in perspective, we can understand the next thing I'm going to say, and that is that only once we've taken those dark shades off, right, can we start seeing some of the other options that perhaps we hadn't seen before. And therefore, that's number 2. Number 2 is to think out of the box. In thinking out of the box, we have to start with that first step of saying, all right, this is an emotion and I need to remove it. And then I need to start rationally thinking about how to conquer it, how to overcome it, how to live with it, how to be happy with it. Henry David Thoreau said something about make the best out of your lot in life. So that's an attitude. I mean, it's a proper attitude that does not subject itself to fear. It weighs all the options and perhaps pursues options, and you just naturally start thinking out of the box, and as such you can embrace some of the options that perhaps you had dreaded or you feared. Because removing emotion can be one of the hardest things, and it's a habit. Let's face it, we become ingrained in habits, and if we've done a kind of life where we've put aside our life for a deferred life plan, and that means that we have all our lives fallen into habits, a habitual way of living, just to say, oh, do this, do that. It's going to require that you understand that losing a habit requires that you do something even if you don't think it, because again, it's very likely that you're coloring your thought process with your fear emotion, and therefore this requires you do something that you normally wouldn't because of your lack of ability to rationalize while you're in fear. You see what I'm saying? And so we need to just do it, right? And we need to do it for minimum 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, every day. We have to force ourselves to do it every day until it becomes a habit. So in essence, we're replacing old fear thinking habits with new rational thinking, options thinking ability, and embracing a new attitude of thinking out of the box. And the third thing would be that to put things in a analytical perspective and falling back on numbers. I know that averages are just that, but the average life expectancy after claiming Social Security is only about 10 years, and that's if you claim it early. But if you claim it late, then your life expectancy on an average drops. So it's not even 10 years. So what I'm trying to do here with this one is put things in perspective, that you've lived your life for how many decades, and now you're afraid of the last 5 or 10 years. Let's get real here. You know, that's what I'm talking about. But for those of us that have embraced a balanced life, retiree lifestyle, that have embraced the lifestyle all of our lives, why we have embraced this way of thinking as a way of living. And so for us, it isn't new. It's just what we do and how we think. Okay. And number 4 would be land in a loving community. So it's not to be underestimated, and especially this day and age with what has come forward lately of what's transpiring. Adopting a loving community based on the principles of the law of love is one of the wisest things that a person could consider doing after they've done and considered all 4 of these. And it's like once you remove the emotion, you start seeing things you hadn't seen before, and things that you would have given like the brush off to, your mind starts giving you possibilities, and you start opening up to the idea of possibility thinking. And possibility thinking is amazing. It's just like in my life, possibility thinking has opened up so many different experiences that had I given in to the spirit of fear in my younger age, I mean, it was a gradual process. You had to learn to stop thinking in fear. And so I'm giving you my lifelong wisdom here to help you out. And remember that the ancient words say that He does not give us the spirit of fear, but of love, joy, and a sound mind. So that means that fear is not from that side of the story, it's from some other story. That's something to really think about. All right, well, hope you got something out of that. Thanks for coming to the channel. Have a wonderful day.